Hey, what's up everyone? In today's video we'll be looking at the Burg Wächter Alpha 800. This is one of the chunky German padlocks that has a pretty interesting mechanism and is actually really difficult to pick in my opinion. So looking at the key we can see that the bitting is actually extremely wild, but this is not an average pin down blur lock. This is actually a wafer lock, so that means that the rotation is prevented not by some pins that are in shear line, but by some let's say rectangularly shaped wafers that are directly blocking the core rotation by sticking out of it in some holes in the housing. And your goal to pick this lock is to position those wafers in a way that they are sort of in line with the core and they are not sticking out from the bottom or from the top. That's basically the principle of wafer locks. Usually in wafer locks you have free floating wafers, so that means they are not sprung, but in this lock it's actually pretty tricky because it has 8 wafers but 3 of them are sprung, so they do not fall down due to gravity, but they are still at the same position at resting state, so that's kinda cool. So you can tell that the bitting here, as I mentioned, is pretty wild, and actually every cut in here, like this is number 8, corresponds to one wafer, right? So this whole section is one wafer, this is second, third, and so on, and these distances from the top to bottom are always the same, you can tell. So it's actually this is how the wafers are, or the bitting is done. This is how the key interacts with the wafers. It basically lifts them to a certain height, so they are flush with the plug, and that allows for some pretty nasty like bitting. There are no max involved. So yeah, how do we actually pick this lock? There is one more thing that needs to be mentioned. Maybe you can see it right now. You can probably see the camera and me hiding behind it, but what's more interesting is that this core is actually split in two. And that means that if I will show, actually this is the thing that we use for tensioning, this dual prong tensioner, and as soon as I put tension in here, you can see that these two halves sort of separate from each other. You can tell that the keyway sort of becomes like larger, let's say, and if you tensioned it from the top or from the bottom only with one tensioner, I think that the core would somehow get jammed and you wouldn't be able to turn it. So that's why people, and me included, use this dual prong tensioner. I actually ordered this one from Multipick, but I think there are better options because this one doesn't fit like really well. I think a monitor directly he used something for Southort and it looked that it fits a lot better. This is kinda wonky. It worked, but don't buy Multipick for this particular lock. So what we have to do here is first we have to push all those wafers down before we start picking, and then after applying tension we lift the binding wafers, or we leave them alone if they're not binding. And these sprung wafers are actually in the back, so you have to, I think there is one that is sprung upwards, you have to push it down, and 2 are sprung downwards, so you have to lift them, and they can drop if you release too much tension. The other ones are free floating, so they sort of like to stay where they are, and you can definitely overset those as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is to this lock. Like honestly, I don't think I fully understand the process of picking. I didn't find a reliable way how to test if a wafer is set properly. You just sort of lift it when it's binding and you kind of hope that it's in its right position. And one more thing that I noticed is that there probably are some security features on those wafers, because some of them like click multiple times as you are setting them. And towards the end of the peak, at some opens I did before making this video, I got even some counter rotations from some wafers. So it would be really interesting to know how do these wafers look like, but I was unable to find any, like not even some blueprints or like patents on this lock. So, or nobody was gutting it, because it has to be done destructively. There is no like a screw like we are used to in here. Alright, so that's probably all I wanted to say. So let's go ahead and get this lock picked. Alright, here we go. The key works. It does. Perfect. So let's start by pushing all those non-sprung wafers towards the bottom. And yeah, let's hope for the best. Okay, so tensioning with this dual prong tensioner, and let's go in. Okay, so there's one of the sprung wafers is really like a min lift, and it should be pushed down. So I usually do that just by inserting the pick, and it somehow magically happens. So I think it did. And now number 8 is binding. Okay, but it's not actually doing anything. So let's try again. Okay, I think I got 8 set now. Perfect. No. Okay, something out of 1, I think. Double click on 2, 3 nothing, 4 nothing, 5 nothing, 6 is I think on the bottom. Hopefully I didn't overset it somehow. Probably not. Let's check it again. That one is sprung, so it can drop. Okay. Back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Nothing is binding. That's my favorite part of this lock. Okay, so I pushed some wafers down in case I overset those back ones, because that sometimes happens. And I'm still using quite heavy tension. Okay, click out of 8. I think I got some co-rotation. Okay, 2. Click on 2. That's good. 3 seems good. 4 feels good. 5 is binding. Click there. Another one. 1. It's one binding. It's always kind of awkward to test it. It was binding. And there's the open. Perfect. I'm pretty happy about this actually, because this is a really difficult lock, I'm not gonna lie. At least for me. Okay, so there's the open. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I wish I could gut this thing just to see what's inside, but I would not be able to even if it was my lock. So hopefully someone will do it, because I really want to know what's inside. I don't think what's there, but I'm not sure. Okay guys, thanks for watching, have a nice day, and hopefully we will see each other really soon with the next video. Bye.